I'm going to cover the actual professional sports, professional NFL football. So let's start with this here. We're going to do the divisions ranked from the worst division in NFL to the best division in the NFL. All right,
so let us guess at least, and we'll go. All right, worst division in football in your mind, Jim
NFC
Costa.
South.
I'll say AFC South.
Costa, you are right. It is the NFC South.
Well done, James.
Of course, this week, Tampa Bay named Baker Mayfield their starting quarterback. But they have New Orleans, who some people believe is a top team in the NFC for some reason. I've seen that floating around.
It's partly because you don't have a lot of good teams. If Derek Carr recaptures 75% of what he used to be, they have some weapons. I don't know if Michael Thomas is alive, but Olave's a stud. David, there is a pathway that if you play an easy schedule, they got a bottom 5 schedule, you rack up empty calories. Meanwhile, look, if you're Philly, the East is no joke. You're the Lions. I think they're going to win the division, but it's not like you have these lay-down opponents like Arizona. So I get that.
So just looking at it, just kind of looking ahead with the division, you have a young quarterback in Atlanta, young quarterback in Carolina. Tampa Bay may get one in the offseason, whatever happens with New Orleans. Perfect time for those 3 teams to get a quarterback. They could become one of the best divisions in a couple years.
Never forget that Atlanta passed on drafting Justin Fields to take a tight end. Okay? Can't let that one go. Jim?
Also drafted a running back in the top 10 at a time where pass attempts are up.
And we don't
pay running backs. So, Mike, you said the AFC South, they are 7th. They are the 7th on the rankings here. They have Jacksonville, of course, Tennessee, the Colts, and the Texans. Another division to where the Jags are clearly the best team.
Okay.
In the division?
I think so.
Okay.
But we can't forget Tennessee. Tennessee is like a
you
rash.
Love Vrabel.
I just think Vrabel is a dog. They're ratty. They're like cockroaches. You could drop an atom bomb and they're still crawling around looking for food. Tennessee is a pain in the ass. Now, do I think they're going to be great? No. But I could see them muddy it up. Is Jacksonville ready to take this step in the regular season and go out and win 12 games?
Last year was the first season Vrabel finished below 500. They had a quarterback injury. They were all banged up. But you know what? They still had the number 1 run defense yards per carry. They're going to play defense. I'm not a Tannehill guy, but if he's healthy, can they get to 9 wins and be a pest? Absolutely they can.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
And again, Vrabel is a divisional home dog. It's an auto bet. I also worry their offensive line's terrible.
Yeah, I know. They took Skoranek, trying to patch it up. Rookie out of Northwestern.
Great. Might play at guard.
Yeah,
Ugh.
correct.
Yeesh.
So we've done both South divisions. I want to get your guess now before we keep going what the best division is, and then we'll go through it.
For me, it's the AFC North. Top to bottom, the AFC North. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and America's Cleveland Browns.
Just to challenge him, NFC East. Eagles and Cowboys, both 12-plus win teams a year ago. The Giants are a playoff team from a year ago. David, what is it?
We'll get to it. I just want to I wanted to get it now before we keep going. Number 6, the NFC North. Lions, Vikings, Bears, Packers. So
wait, you
they
just
are the third worst.
You just said give us the best division.
Right. You
wanted to lock in our answers.
Going. Yes, lock him in now.
Put them in a time capsule and take it up later.
Yeah, so technically they think the NFC North is the third worst division
I'd
NFL.
put the NFC West below them just because you have 2 teams that are actually dead.
You have 2 teams that might not win 4 games.
Right.
I think the NFC North, it's a bit underrated. Now, look, I'm not telling you Green Bay or Chicago are great shakes, but could I see a pathway where Green Bay with the roster and the Bears with really one of the mercurial stars in the league could be better than you think? And even Minnesota dropping back as an 8-win team? I don't think that's totally fair to the NFC North.
Yeah, and today on Get Up on ESPN, 3 of the 4 picked. I'm sorry, we had 2 Bears selections, we had a Viking selection, and 1 Lions selection to win the division.
What does the Bears love to win this division?
They say Justin Fields taking the next step.
But here's your problem. They're a team that has no defensive line.
Or offensive line.
Paid huge money to off-ball linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
And your quarterback takes a sack on 32% of his dropbacks with pressure. Guys, can we breathe on the Bears?
They're a year away.
Yeah,
and that's if they do it the right way.
Correct. The next one would be the NFC West. 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals. The Cardinals, they may be the worst team in the NFL. So that makes that division porous.
I think
the Rams are going to be bad.
The Rams are horrific.
Yeah.
It's Kupp, Stafford, Aaron Donald, and maybe the worst 50 people to play professional football together.
We did on the podcast today. I named players, starters from the Rams defense. Who are these people?
I didn't know.
Look up their depth chart. They're not real people.
No Leonard
They're
Floyd
like
anymore.
computer-generated, randomized names that are going to play defense for the Rams.
Honestly, Kenneth Cott, and I would have believed it. I would have believed it.
Ryan Smitherson.
Oh, yeah, that way the one guy said was a senator, and you're like, nah, he's from South
Linebacker
Dakota.
from South Dakota State.
I have no idea who these people are.
Roseboom.
But that's the byproduct of FDM picks. The roster erosion and the inability to put actual depth anywhere. Stafford's going out the way he came in.
FDM picks, right?
He joined a winless team. He's going to go out on one. They're horrible.
Next on the list, Costa, you said NFC East. They are the next on the list. They are the number 4 team division here.
David, he's Cowboy Costa. Take a listen to this spiel.
Yeah, Cowboys? You believe in the Cowboys?
Guy, give him the spiel.
How about them Cowboys?
Give him the spiel. Why? Let me hear it.
Great defense at all 3 levels. That comes back offensively. People forget 2 years ago, Dak Prescott, top 5 quarterback. Passer rating, touchdown passes. He threw 37 touchdowns.
And how many picks?
Zeke, only 10. 2 years ago, he was real deal. Now, last year, hold on.
Sucks.
Last year, he had the thumb. He had Zeke's dead body carrying it 250 times. Receivers weren't separating. I think they're going to have a much better year this year.
And
I'll
year
take
means
that.
win division.
If someone's going to knock the Eagles off, who lost 5 starters on defense, it's the Dallas Cowboys.
All right. Well, the next division on the list would be the AFC West. Kansas City, the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders. I don't think there's any
I'm not
argument there.
I'm not as high in the division because I'm not ready to rebuy on Denver.
Yeah.
I don't know that Russell Wilson is not what we saw, and the Raiders have potential to be an absolute clown car. Now, Kansas City, we know. The Chargers are the team I'm fascinated by. On paper, they should be threatening to go to a Super Bowl.
Correct.
In reality, they trip over their garden hose. I don't know what to do with that team. But enough of the Justin Herbert love. Time to win some games, young man. You had a 4-touchdown lead in a playoff game where the other team handed you the ball 4 times. You couldn't find a way to get a victory there? Come on, man.
We all know what Joe Lombardi is as a play caller. We lived through it here in Detroit. I'm going to need you to help me when we go to that division on the podcast because I love the Chargers. Everything sets up for them this year. They were without Rashawn Slater last year at left tackle. Both their top receivers got hurt. They're going to be a better team.
One of them got hurt because the coach is a ding-a-ling. Brandon Staley playing Mike Williams in a meaningless game, getting him killed, and then showing up to Jacksonville with like your Nona playing wide receiver, that's on the coach.
I would argue no team had as severe a star power list of injuries as they did. Bosa, J.C. Jackson on defense. Like, Mike, they were so beat up a year ago.
I know. But can I trust Staley? And you're in a winner-take-all type game.
Mm-hmm.
You going against Mahomes?
No.
David's rubbing his head.
But that's part of what makes the division great is if you think you've got a great team in the Chiefs and if you think the Chargers are that next tier, that Super Bowl contender, yeah, it's hard to argue they're not one of the best divisions.
So the top 2 divisions, according to ESPN's rankings here, Mike, were you right? No, you weren't. AFC North would be 2, and the AFC East would be number 1.
Okay. I'm not mad about it. When I look at, I'll put it this way. Who do I like better as a perceived last place team in each division? Pittsburgh or New England? I like Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
I think New England.
Whoa. Pittsburgh, last team in the division?
Yeah.
The Browns are the last team. Well,
David, I'm with you, but just let him do his thing.
Thanks, Dad. So, in conclusion, no, I think the Browns have a shot to surprise everybody. The Ravens are never going to be bad. And Cincinnati, it's Joe Cool. Now, you go to the East. How do we know that Tua's upright, play to play? Patriots stink, and I don't like the Jets the way everybody else does. They have a horrific offensive line and a 40-year-old quarterback. That doesn't play to the strengths of Aaron Rodgers, which is, hey, we need to run the football tournament a little bit more of a game manager.
We'll do the comp. Bengals or Bills? I think you and I are both Bengals.
Bengals. I'm not convinced the Bills are going to win a big game again.
It's the way you play with all those turnovers. You're not doing yourself any favors. It's not a one-off. It's who they are. They
refuse
turn the ball.
Run the ball.
Yeah.
And last I checked, your defensive coordinator was Leslie Frazier. We're good here. Launch that guy to the moon.
And that is Football Today division style.